learn about the off-grid lifestyle and to be inspired to live your dreams, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Hit the bell notification. So, I try to answer questions as often as I can down in the comment section of the YouTube channel. I don't get a lot of time to do it anymore. It just takes a lot of time with as many comments as I get, and most of it is such trash talk that I don't have a lot of time to go through, filter it all out, and approve the ones that need approved and delete the ones that don't need approved. Now, you may hear the jets flying overhead right now, and I've had several complaints about the noise from the jet. I thought you lived off-grid. What's with all the airplanes? I don't know. I guess once you have an off-grid property, you're supposed to call some aeronautical company and tell them that they're no-fly zone. No, these are actually really cool. These, there's an Air Force base just, I don't know, 40 miles from us. Yeah, I guess they use this area as their training ground because there's, I think they're called warthogs. Man, these things are cool. They do some amazing stuff here. I mean, they just fly around. Yesterday, 2 of them just barely clipped the top of the trees. It was incredible. It really is a lot of fun listening to them. Oh, there's one. Yep, turning. I tried to film them before, but they look so far away, even though they're right on top of it. Yeah, you're going to hear the jet noises. I'm leaving it in the video right now so you can hear it. I do try to trim that out. Usually I hit the pause button on the camera as they're flying over. Next question is my haircut. Man, Carolyn does a great job cutting your hair. Well, wait a minute. Hold on there just a minute. What do you mean Carolyn does such a great job cutting my hair? No, I cut my own hair. I do the same thing that I did on a submarine. So I think I started out with the number 10, and I just keep working myself down, lower and lower. I think I'm at a number 6 right now. The reason is I know that I'm losing my hair. I have a thin patch here, and I have the thin patch here. This patch here has been pretty thin since I was in boot camp, but the back here is starting to get pretty thin. So I'm considering doing the Bruce Willis thing and just shave my head at some point. I'm working up to it, getting the courage to actually shave my head. So I just take a little bit, every time I cut my hair, I just take a little bit off more at a time. I think I was at 6, so next time I cut my hair, I'll be at a 5 and then a 4. And we'll see how it goes. As I shave my face, I can just go ahead and shave my head and be done with it. The next question that came up was my sickle blade. You swing this and you can cut your grass. I've done several videos using the sickle blade. It's really handy to have if you start a little homestead. You don't need a brush hog and a bunch of fancy tools or weed whackers or anything. This does a really good job, and you get exercise while you're doing it. I always call it a sling blade. Sometimes you'll hear me say sling blade. That's because there's a movie called Sling Blade, and they talk about sling blade. And this thing's easy to operate. I've showed you how to do it. But the question is, how do you sharpen it? It really doesn't need a lot of sharpening. What happens is sometimes these little blades will get bent over. You'll hit a rock or something, they just kind of lift up. And what I do is I just take a little file and knock that off, that little, as it bends over. So it's not that, the rest of the blades are always very sharp, except those one spots that bend over. You can take a little file. I tried the grinder one time, but man, that took it off so fast. These things are pretty cheap. I think they're 20 bucks. I mean, they're not very expensive at our local hardware stores, mom and pop hardware stores, so they're probably cheaper elsewhere. One of the most common questions I get it at least once a week, is where in Missouri are you located? Now, I'm assuming they're asking this question because they want to know where they can find a nice little piece of homestead property. But it always comes out as, we're looking to find you. So many haters out there. It's very unsafe to give out your location. I try very hard not to give it out. So if you ask me the question where I'm located, I will go ahead and approve the comment, of course, because there's nothing hateful in it. But I won't respond to it simply because I just don't want to even acknowledge that question. I don't want to sound rude either way. You know, I type it up. I don't trust anybody, but the way it makes it sound is I don't trust you. Well, that's not necessarily true. I just don't want to advertise my location. I mean, if I tell you, you may tell somebody else who you think you can trust, and it turns out, you know, after 6 or 7 people know where I am at, somebody's showing up telling me how terrible a person I am. And, you know, as a nomad, it wasn't quite as bad, But being at a fixed location, it's not like you can just pick up and leave. So it's kind of dangerous. Somebody wanted to know why I delete so many comments. And I've actually explained this before. There was, back I guess around November, December timeframe, one night or one morning I woke up and I had, I don't know, 50 or 60 comments from different people. Now, you got to understand how these trolls work. Sometimes they all get together. They might get over on Twitter or Facebook or someplace, and there's a group of them, and they all get together and they decide that they're going to gang up on a YouTube channel, trying to get them shut down. They're trying to get YouTube to shut them down. And sometimes they're actually pretty successful. At the time, I was approving most all comments, and I didn't realize what happens when you do certain things. So one morning I woke up and I had 50 or 60 comments that were death threats. So I reported every one of those comments to YouTube. Well, later that day, YouTube sent me an email explaining to me that my comment section had inappropriate comments or something like that. So of course I attributed that to the death threats that I reported to YouTube. They said suspended me from doing live feeds. I'm no longer allowed to do live feeds. I don't know if it's a suspension or if I'm just not allowed to do them. I can't do them still yet today. So I really am micromanaging the comment section. That being said, most of the comments that I get are just trash. It's just trash. I've learned several things, so now that the trolls know how to actually get me, don't worry about it. You can still send out your trash. I'll just delete them. I won't even involve YouTube. So it doesn't matter what you do now. I just am not going to take much of anything in the comment section. I actually, for a while, disabled the comment section. There were 3 reasons, and that was one of the reasons. I don't do this very often, but I got a comment this morning that I wanted to share with you, and I want to elaborate about it a little bit, discuss it a little bit. I don't have this person's permission, so I'll just use the first name. She says, her name's Ashley, and she says, "You both inspire my husband and I to live more free. I love the channel and respect the HE double hockey stick out of your lifestyle. It's super awesome to see what America was meant for, the freedom to live as you want, the pursuit of happiness and the lifestyle choices. Please keep doing things like you are, posting and sharing your life. You're a light when this world seems so dark. Love that you do what makes you happy. You both are lucky to have one another to share the simple love in life." With all the trashy comments that I get, those kind of comments I really do appreciate. It makes me think that people are actually watching and getting the message that there's something more out there that doesn't require other people. The independence of everything, the freedom, the pursuit of happiness. Look, I know that the nomadic lifestyle, everybody was chasing that dream. We chased it for 3 years, and it just wasn't what I thought it was. It just that freedom, that open road, you know. You grow up watching all the hippies on TV, and you think, okay, that's what I want to do, and then you get out there, and if you don't want to go to jail, then you really kind of have to follow the rules and follow. It's not independence if somebody else is telling you what to do. Independence means your choice. You're independent. And so when you buy your own piece of property, and then you can do what you want. I try to stay off the radar. And I know people are going to say, you're on YouTube, you can't stay off the radar. Well, I think I can, as long as I don't give away my location. I think I stay off the radar. You know, it's such a small town, they're not watching YouTube videos around here. But I did meet someone at the gas station, and she, "Oh, you guys are building that little house. That's amazing." And you really don't want that kind of attention. And so the independent nature, yeah, we're just doing a little cabin, you know, and you just keep it simple. You don't go into a lot of detail about what you're doing, because as soon as you go into detail, now it's become a community project. Everybody wants to get involved. They want to tell you what to do. They want to tell you how to do it, how to run your sewer, how to do this. You don't want any of that. You want to stay free, independent. In order to do that, you kind of remove people from your life, because as soon as people come in, you're not independent anymore. Freedom is an amazing thing. Once you find what it is, freedom is being debt-free, step number one, debt-free. You cannot have independence if you're relying on someone else for your whatever. If I'd have gotten a loan to buy this property, it wouldn't have been my property. It'd have been somebody else's. Well, how can you be independent if somebody else owns the place that you live on? It's like renting. Well, one day I might get it paid off, unless something happens and then I don't get it paid off. Another thing to be independent, you got to find a spot away, a little bit back from them, so they're not questioning you all the time. And you're not on top of them, they're not on top of you, then it's perfect. So again, people are detrimental to freedom. As a matter of fact, I had one person tell me, we don't want any HOAs in this area, kind of indicating he didn't want me causing problems. So see, that's the kind of mindset that you want to be around. I hope I can inspire you to find your independence and freedom so you can pursue your happiness. Thanks, Ashley. Thanks for watching.